What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I just wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about what's going through my mind, which is what I do on this channel. Talk about as I'm going through learning Japanese and just some stuff that has kind of hit me. So if you didn't watch the live stream that I did with Language Come Up with Mark from Language Come Up, or if you didn't watch the entire 20 minutes of which was way longer than I expected it to be, of the 40 hours in a week challenge, I did say at the end of that video that I was doing the challenge again. Now, today is the 5th day. It is 11:55 at night right now. And I am on my way to hitting 40 hours again. But there's something that really came to my mind and has honestly kind of helped me this week. And just in terms of recognizing a flaw that I had within learning, and that was just simply trying to do too much. I have all these things that I want to do, and while I am trusting the system, you know, like I'm doing the mass immersion approach, for example, but while I am trusting the system and doing that, I feel that sometimes, you know, in the past, and even, you know, some this week, I have tried to go past my level. And I'm not opposed to the idea of challenging myself, because I do think that that's the way that we get better in a lot of things. However, I also think that there's also a realistic goal of staying where you're comfortable in terms of learning versus going into a place where it's just completely foreign. And Japanese is a great example, because there's so many things in Japanese that is said in a different way. It's not a one-for-one word translation. And so I think as you learn grammar constructs, that can help. And sometimes I think trying to jump too far into it may or may not be a good thing. Now, there's probably a lot of people who disagree with that, but I found that, like, for example, just to give you some examples, like this past couple of weeks, like I've been thinking about, like, I've been doing the Tango decks, or the Tango deck, the Tango in 5 deck, which I don't plan on taking the JLPT test. However, it is like 1,500 of the most common words, so I figured that probably is a good way to start. So I've been doing that, and I'm doing the RTK deck, and I'm like, oh man, if I could get more vocabulary, right? Just pounding this vocabulary out. And so I would search for decks and download stuff and stuff like that, and then try some stuff and whatever, but I always came back to the Tango deck and the RTK deck. And within the last week or so, I've kind of come to the realization that just stick to what is simple in terms of do my Tango deck, do the 10 or 15 new cards a day, obviously all my reviews, do RTK, 10 or 15 new a day, all my reviews, and then immerse, and then do obviously some grammar study, whether I'm using Bunpo or trying to read a little bit of Take Him, and just kind of stick with that. And I think that there is a time to step out of your comfort zone, because I do think that a lot of times that can make you better. But like, for example, sometimes I will go in and I'll turn on like Learn Languages with Netflix, and I'll watch something and the subtitles will pop up, and it's like I can recognize some of the words, but the way that the grammar is and the way that the sentences are formed in terms of just words being used, sometimes it's really confusing. And sometimes I'll really kind of harp on myself on that and like really try to make heads or tails of it. And it's like I'm trying to do too much at once. Like, it's a slow, gradual process. And in the grand scheme of things, I'm almost 4 months into mass immersion. And realistically, over the course of my Japanese life, I'm probably still within the first, definitely within the first 1,000 hours of learning. Like, I know I've off and on learned it for 10 years, and this is a great example as to why you should talk about your time studied, not your years studied, because I've studied, quote unquote, for 10 a year, almost 11 years now. But realistically, I started and then I took like 8 years off, so I need to stay kind of where I'm at, and I'm challenging myself every day, but without going to the point to where everything that I'm doing is just this constant nag against my brain, and trying to do things that are just a little bit out of my goal. I want to learn the grammar, but I also think that there's a point in learning grammar to an extent in kind of a sequential order. Like, I'm doing Bunpo, which has it separated by JLPT level, and that seems to be working, because it starts out with a little bit of like more so simple things, and it gradually works its way to the harder grammar constructs. Now, the main reason that I say that is because everybody's mentality is different, and mine, for example, once I start getting a negative attachment, if you watched the last live stream I did, I was using Closemaster, which is not something that I use regularly, but for the sake of a live stream, I did it because it's one of the few things I can stream that I do. And I was starting to get irritated, and that's when I can't do that, like, because that creates a negative stigma on language learning and what I'm doing in Japanese, and therefore it makes me not want to study. So I'm trying to eliminate that, and that's the problem with a lot of this is when I do like learn languages with Netflix or something. Like, if I can just go and go until I find a target one sentence, that would be great. And that's what I've done recently, more so recently, and not worried about the bigger things that I don't understand. Like, yes, I need to look those words up and I need to understand them, but I also understand that that just comes in time with immersion and just constantly adding new vocabulary and stuff like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to stay in my lane and do what's smart, to prevent burnout and to prevent this negative atmosphere and negative stigma towards the language. That way I can stay motivated in order to learn the language. So I don't know how you all feel. Does anybody else out there? I'm sure I feel like that's a problem that maybe everybody has, is the idea of like jumping too far ahead. And again, I know, like I said probably 30 times in this video, I do think that challenging yourself is a great way to improve, but I also think that there is kind of a time and a place to do that. But again, I know everybody's different. I would be interested to know what you all think. So hopefully you all got something out of this video. As you, I mean, that's what I like about this channel. I'm just it's just kind of almost like video diaries from time to time as to what's currently going on in my brain surrounding language learning. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Like, is there something that you maybe jump too far ahead on, knowing good and well that it's probably not going to be good, but you still continuously do it? But yeah, let me know. So I gotta go knock out the rest of my RTK for the day. So I'm gonna upload this video, and I will chat with you guys very, very soon. Follow me on social media at Seabolt Speaks. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. So